Hi there, I'm Robert. Welcome back to another edition of the High Desert Ranch Channel. Today it's the beginning of November, and as you can see, there's more snow on the ground. And so we're going to talk a few things that are coming up for the month of November with the change in the seasons, especially here in the high desert with over 6,000 feet. So come along, let me and the ranch be your ticket to help escape the ordinary, only on the High Desert Ranch Channel. All right, so today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the changes that are obviously happening here in the high desert on the ranch. It's with the change of the seasons comes a little bit of a change as far as the routine. The chores don't necessarily change, but there are a few additional chores that change. One of the struggles that any rancher faces is having the cold weather. Let me get my other glove on. It's a little chilly. It's a balmy 30 degrees right now, a little bit of a breeze, and so temperatures are now dropping down into the low 20s and even teens here at night here in the high desert. So we've got to start preparing for that. I'm here on the spring and fall pasture, the big pasture where I played the big game of hide and go seek, where I did think the cows had gone missing, but turns out that cows are just good at hiding when they want to be, and even when they aren't even trying, given enough land and space and changing the topography. But with the cold temperatures, especially here in the high desert, we're, like I say, over here at 6,000 feet. We've got to make some adjustments on the ranch. I'll take you down to the hog pens just so you can see how the hoggies are doing. We're only a few days, or I should say, 2 weeks away from taking the hogs to be processed, and so it's one of those things of gonna check on them, make sure they're doing okay. And as you can see, those mountains that are still covered in are making it a little bit hard to keep the cows here on spring pasture and fall pasture. And one of those reasons being is right here. The water is at a trickle, and so I can't touch the buttons with my gloves. So with it being at a trickle, it's enough continuous for the cows that it pools where it gets a little bit flat in elevation in terrain in the ditch and kind of spreads out a little bit. But eventually the water is going to be just shut off completely because it's just too frozen. They don't want to send it down the cement ditch anymore, and it's just not melting because the temperatures are too cold. It's one of those things that for November, we're down our our average high here is 49 degrees, and our average low is right around 20 degrees at night. And so last year we were a lot warmer than average, but this year it's looking to be a much colder November than what we normally have, and trending 10 degrees cooler than last year November. Even the predictions are saying a much cooler November than average for around these parts, and folks are kind of hoping for a harder winter. Maybe not the winters that the old timers remember, but relative to what we've been having the last 20 years around here in the high desert of central Utah. So because of the water situation, there is still plenty of feed here. As you can see behind me, there's still some tall false wheatgrass, even some Indian ryegrass and other vegetation that it does have some protein for the cows. But really, we just in order to consolidate resources, if you're new to the channel, I'm trying to revive the family ranch. It's kind of been defunct for basically since my grandfather passed away about 10 years ago. And so because of the economics of it, I want to, Shane's going to help me. We're going to drive the cattle just a short little walk, really. When I say drive, it's just kind of push them to there's the 40-acre pasture where we're going to winter them over, where there's still plenty of fall sweetgrass, plenty of Indian ryegrass, but there's actually some alfalfa that I irrigated over the summer that popped up. It hadn't been watered in several years, which speaks to the durability and the longevity of the alfalfa grass. And so there is some alfalfa grass that will be there for them, but really if it's going to be a colder November than normal, you know, the cows are going to need that extra protein. And even the snows. Last year in November, we didn't get we did get some rain, very little. We averaged less than 3/4 of an inch of precipitation November. We got half of that last year, whereas this year already, this November, you can see we already have snow, which we didn't have a single flake of snow that settled on the ground and stuck. We didn't even have a snowstorm. It was all rain in November of last year because of the warm temperatures. So because of those cold temperatures, and if the snow continues to accumulate and get deeper, we're going to need to just feed them anyways, for the protein to stay warm and whatnot. So I can't see the cows today. I'm guessing they're all right. Don't need to go on another hide and seek game of hide and seek with the cows. So we're gonna head over to the hog pens, and I'm going to show you some of the plans that Shane and I have for the month of November, and on another upcoming episode here on the High Deseret Ranch Channel. So let's go take a look, show you the hoggies, see how they're doing in this cold. And I had a few requests as far as the shelters, so you'll be able to see just how the shelters work when it's cold and why I did what I did. So let's go check it out. Alright, so I'm here at the hog pens, and I had some gravel, some road, got most of it spread out along here, but we still got to do more over by further on down. Then I had the rest dropped right here because I've got to get the skid steer and figure out where we're gonna do some things. I'm thinking to have the water trough somewhere in here, use these rocks or something as part of kind of building up a trough. So stay tuned for that. That'll be on an upcoming edition of the High Deseret Ranch Channel, where you'll see just exactly what Shane and I are up to, and with that. Because, well, we're already starting to run into watering issues and things of that nature. Sorry, gotta keep working while I'm filming. So and then this big stack of hay behind me is what we use to feed over the winter time. Really, like I say, there's still plenty of feed. There's plenty of feed back here. So we're going to, just once the snows get too deep is when we've got to start supplementing that feed. And speaking of feed, good old Blackie, he's a Angus with some Holstein in him. So he did get sick, lost some weight, but because of the way the butcher things work, we've got to get his date is actually here in November as well. We're coming up on that, and so just what it is. If we try on your schedule, it's going to be months out, and the economics of it, trying to feed them over the winter time, even more hay, just isn't going to work out for us. These little guys, not so little anymore, they're growing like crazy. They're actually going to be processed in February, and so they're all doing quite well. We'll be breeding the sow here, and actually this month the boar that we have isn't quite mature enough. We've been feeding him up as much as we can. He's right there. He's putting on weight, but he just isn't quite big enough. So we're actually going to take him over to a neighbor, take her over to a neighbor and get her bred. Now these guys, these are the ones that they're going to be ready to go to market here in just a few weeks. In fact, we're 2 weeks away. I believe it is. Yeah, we're actually, it's T-minus 14 days and counting when we take these guys in to be processed. There's 10 of them that will be processed. They're all accounted for and sold, so they'll go off to market to various people around here and in the local community. And then we're going to keep one of them for a sow. She's a gilt. We'll keep one of her to be bred with the boar that we have, and so she'll be ready to be bred in January, and so for an April birth, and then she'll be ready to, those pigs will be ready to be sold in Mayish time frame. So, but hopefully our boar by January will be big enough to breed her, and so yeah, that's something that's what's happening here. I wanted to show you something that the piggies are doing just fine. Carla, do you want to pull off that log and then uncover the feed? So something I want to show you. It does get muddy here in the winter time, but as you can see, as long as the pigs have somewhere nice and warm to get and dry, that's the key. Let me show you. Oh. It is muddy. So as long as the pigs have somewhere warm to get to and it's dry, they'll be just fine. So as you can see, definitely dry compared to the muddy pit that they've got. These shelters are 8x8. All the hoggies, they fit just fine in here. So yeah, they'll be, as far as that goes, everything's going to be all right. So something that is to note too is you can see these troughs. It's not good just to let your feeds sit out and just get all fermented and whatnot, because it happens really quickly. So one thing that's nice about these auto feeders is you can put a majority of the feed that they won't be able to eat when you give them their rations, but they can feed throughout the day. It keeps the feed dry and wet, so you get a little bit better protein content out of your feed because of that. So definitely recommend that. It's okay to have the open troughs, but it's great to have the enclosed trough feeders or hog feeders as well. I'm gonna be curious to see. It's just gonna be one of those things. We're gonna be breaking ice here, and really just giving enough water that the hogs will need. Really, their water production goes down dramatically. So really, it's just at feeding time. So if you're checking on them twice a day, giving them water at feeding times, unless it's crazy cold, then there's going to be other issues. So just one of those things we're going to have to deal with as you follow us throughout the winter time. You'll just see the adventures of ranching here when it's cold and chilly. But I'm definitely looking forward to our little science experiment. Shane talked to one of the old timers about what he does to keep his troughs unfrozen throughout the winter time, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It does require a little elbow grease, so definitely look forward to keep tuned for that, as well as just some general hog updates. Like I say, we're taking Blackie up over the mountain path to get processed, and then we'll be taking these dozen hogs just the day after Blackie, or a few days before Blackie as well, as they meet the measure of the intent of their full creation as far as hogs here, providing high quality meat for the local economy and whatnot. So really, that's all I can think of, guys. I appreciate you coming along today, and hopefully I was your ticket to help escape the ordinary. I hope that you like, subscribe, you tune in as we head into the winter time here on the ranch, and in this transition month of November. The weather can be wild around these parts, And I need to get me a new hat, a new wintertime hat. I've definitely got the apparel and the garb, but I like to keep my hair short, and this hat is definitely not made for wintertime. So maybe I can ask for a nice Christmas gift from the missus and just kind of grin it till then, because it's usually right at the Christmas time that it becomes an ice box around these parts. Absolutely frigid cold, below zero. We're lucky to even get above freezing for daytime temps. So that's it, folks. Appreciate you coming along, and remember, you only get so many trips around the sun. So decide what it is you're going to do today, get after it, and